Good morning. It is very wonderful to be here with you today on this Creation Care Sunday. Aaron invited me to preach today because this year I've had the opportunity to serve as the artist in residence at Acadia National Park, which falls within the homeland and territory of the Wabanaki, the people of the Dawnland. I've spent the past year visiting Acadia and spending stretches of time with the land, people, and animals who home the region. During my August stint, I lived alone in an isolated cabin within the park, which is theoretically a great place for an artist, in a field of late summer wildflowers, a short stroll to the trails. Most striking, the house had no cell phone or Wi-Fi. So I'd love to tell you that I had some sort of revelation to share about creation or God or the natural world, or that I finished my book. No. Honestly, the biggest thing I learned is how much writing I can get done when I don't have access to TikTok. Still, I'm very grateful for the invitation to preach today, a day we celebrate St. Francis and creation care. And I can't think of St. Francis without being reminded of the late Pope Francis, who passed in May. Pope Francis was outspoken on matters of global concern, including climate change. In his encyclical Laudato Si, Francis espoused a concept called integral ecology. He wrote, "We are not faced with two separate crises, one environmental and the other social, but rather with one complex crisis, which is both social and environmental." Integral ecology is a holistic approach that recognizes the interconnectedness of all things: environmental, economic, social, cultural, political, acknowledging the impacts of climate change, locally and globally, are often disproportionately felt by frontline communities. It frames the current crisis as one complex, intertwined human and ecological challenge rather than separate issues. By understanding this profound interconnectedness, integral ecology calls for comprehensive solutions that address the cry of the poor and the cry of the earth together. As we honor Creation Care Sunday, our observation is inseparable from the reality of the immense systemic harm being perpetuated on our communities: people, land, water, animals. Even now, the detention center, dubbed Alligator Alcatraz, threatens the fragile Everglade ecosystem while holding our brothers and sisters in unsafe, dehumanizing conditions. Even now, the people of Palestine face environmental degradation and resource control under occupation, where the war machine is targeting farmland and olive trees, where airstrikes release toxic pollutants as a form of ecocide. Cruelty toward the land, people, water, and animals is not collateral for policies of violence. Cruelty is the point. So perhaps our readings today are fitting for Creation Care Sunday. Habakkuk's lament, challenging, angry, directed at God, could come from us today. "O Lord, how long shall I cry for help, and you will not hear? Or cry to you violence, and you will not save?" Like Habakkuk, we may feel angry with our systems, with each other, maybe even with God, to see the law paralyzed, justice never going forth. So what do we do with this? First, avoid despair. Sarah Jaquette Ray writes, "Oppressed and marginalized people had developed traditions of resilience out of necessity, have painstakingly cultivated resilience over the long arc for the fight for justice. They know that protecting joy and hope is the ultimate resistance to domination." Hope, a daily practice, and our source of creative energy. And from hope, action, what we pay attention to, what seeds we plant and nurture and care for, even against all odds, even when we're not guaranteed fruit. Today, I'm especially reminded of the Sam DeFlitch, who were intercepted before reaching Gaza with aid, but whose actions brought Palestinians time to fish from their own waters and feed themselves. John Carroll, professor at Union Presbyterian Seminary, in fact, asks, would faith of mustard seed scale move us to action, even when the prospects of success seem so slight? It's an important question, especially living within an empire that can legislate, that can try to change the truth about climate change, that can inflict violence, but we cannot let this diminish our ability and our desire to care for creation and for each other, also part of creation, our small, resilient seeds. Let us not forget that in the midst of Habakkuk's despair, that God talked back. Then the Lord answered me. God was with him. God is with us as we nurture these seeds, as we speak out against violence, as we work in our own community to minimize food waste, to contribute to community fridges, to advocate for healthy waters in the Great Bay. Flooding, erosion, habitat degradation, and warmer temperatures all threaten our delicate estuary home and the health of our community. But we can choose the seeds we plant to protect each other, the actions we take to co-create a future we want to see. And here's one action that doesn't take any effort at all, which is my favorite kind of action. And we can start doing nothing today. Leave the leaves this fall. This small act has a big impact. Leaves serve as a natural fertilizer and improve the soil structure in our community. Fallen leaves provide a cozy, insulating blanket for insects, butterflies, bees, fireflies, and other small creatures to survive the coming winter months. Because what we do here today does not stay here. How we treat the land in Dover eventually reaches the sea. Ground cover we provide for monarch butterflies fuels their journey thousands of miles each year as they travel the vast and borderless expanse of the earth. It's a scary time. The woe machine is ever awake and barreling along. But when I was in Acadia, in my Wi-Fi-less cabin, not once did I write about what I feared, only that which I loved. Even today's epistle from Timothy reminds us that God did not give us a spirit of fear, but rather a spirit of power and of love. And so I ask us today to consider what we love about this world, each other, the moonlit opossum journey, how chickadees open each day insistent that a better world is coming. We must take our awe and our sacred anger and our love with us and get to work. We need it now more than ever as we push into this strange new future together. Every act of solidarity means something. It is a commitment to liberation and reminds us of our ability to change the world together. In the words of Pope Francis, let us sing as we go. May our struggles and our concern for this planet never take away the joy of our hope. Amen.